essentially today what we're doing is we're trying to, this walk itself is a walk meant to orient us towards our coastline. There is only a very small stretch of the coastline we're taking. And yeah, just in a small stretch from Governor's Bungalow all the way to the Broken Bridge. A lot of you may not have seen Broken Bridge, but it's a very, very beautiful place. Now, to find it beautiful, you have to imagine out certain things. You have to imagine out the garbage, you have to imagine out the sewage. Yesterday, about 200 of us worked at Broken Bridge to remove the garbage, and we were able to make a slight dent in it. And that garbage does not come from the fishing village, it does not come from the beach, it does not come only from the houses over here. But that's garbage that flows down all the way from along the Adyar river. So anybody between here and Chembarambakam could have thrown their household waste or their thermocol, because what we found in large quantity over there is thermocol and used slippers, and you usually can't find a pair, so there's only one slipper. And these things tend to wash down from the river. The thermocol comes largely from packaging of electronic items and computer items, so Chennai becoming an IT city means we will get a lot more thermocol garbage. Thermocol cannot be recycled, it cannot be buried, it cannot be burnt, so the only way out of thermocol is to ban it. There are plenty of alternatives. In other countries they use things like cardboard for packaging, and companies are required to do that because there's a law that requires the company to phase out unsustainable packaging. Over here we don't have a law, and we don't believe in enforcing laws against the IT industry because it's a holy cow. So we're going to do this short stretch, and we have with us here Arun, who's a turtle enthusiast and a birder, naturalist, as is murugavel, who specializes in birds but also handles snakes and has a whole range of other similar distinctions to his credit. So we're going to do a few things. We're walking along. We were supposed to have one of the fisherfolk elders coming and talking to us about the fishing traditions in this area, but unfortunately there was a death in the village, so you'll have to put up with me talking about fishing. I'm a good fish eater, but that's about my experience with the trade and the tradition. We have Arun and murugavel will be talking about the importance of the estuary, the Adyar estuary, and what it ought to be like, and what are the threats to that estuary. And then we're taking a walk inside Theosophical Society. How many of you walked in there? Okay, there have been quite a few of them who walked inside the TS, but we'll have a guided tour. We know both of them know quite a bit about the trees and the birds, so we'll hear more about that. So we can start from the large camp that we've filled up, and that was just the 200 people doing. Before that, the corporation had done 3 drives in the same area in the last 15 days using earth moving equipment to get the garbage. And at the end of it, there was still a lot for us, and after our cleanup, there's still a lot out there. So our cleanup wasn't...
Any guesstimate about how much you would have scraped off?
In tonnage, I don't know. In volume, yes, because this thing is light. So
in percentage terms, 1% or 10% or?
Yesterday, we'd have probably taken out about 5-10%. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the things is, with the beach, what we're also trying to say is that the reason why we put this here is we could have easily taken it, bagged it, and taken it to Pallikarne, which is where all these things are dumped. There are a couple of problems with it. One, in our lexicon, a cleanup means dirtying somebody else's house.
Correct.
So we want our streets clean, but we don't mind having somebody else's streets dirty. So that is something that we don't realize or we set aside. The second thing is that by moving this over there, we hide the problem. So if we take it from here and whisk it away to Pallikarne, nobody is wiser. And one of the reasons why we thought we could have this, and of course ideally we should have had all the garbage come over here in a monument that you can see from any end of the beach. That's that huge. But then we were also worried about dirtying this entire place up by bringing it over here, and it kind of sends mixed signals to people, and we didn't want that, so that's why we did a compact with just a very small portion of the garbage. The other thing is with the beach, I think that the beach is kind of a metaphor for our democracy, where people do not really take action. We're not interested in practicing democracy. We, at the very most, will end up voting once in 5 years, and most of us don't even do that. And between 5 years, we do not practice democracy. We do not question, we do not challenge, we do not find out for ourselves, and we do not influence. And the same thing is also the case with the beach. So when a beach needs to be cleaned up, the government issues a diktat to all school students, and the children don't have a choice. They come in their uniform, they drag these bags, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know why they're doing it. And the people who dirty it also don't know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And so the children quickly come, they take it, and the waste is hidden. And this is done every year like a ritual. And in between those two cleanups, the place is dirtied. So if you look over there, that is a violation of the coastal regulation zone, this encroachment into the beach. No construction in the sand is permitted. Only temporary constructions are permitted. But this has been done by the government, by the municipal corporation, as part of their beautification drive earlier on, not this beautification drive. And the police booth is also sitting over there. Now this place has become a pissing wall. So men who don't have the stamina to walk up to that Sulabh Sauchalaya to piss will come and piss over here. That's another pissing wall. And there are people who are like, pissing in full view of other people.
Right.
Nobody says anything. There are women sitting over here, it might be a cause of embarrassment, it's definitely a cause of disease and bad smell. But neither the pissers care nor do the watchers care. So there is actually a complete lack of any kind of interest, despite the fact that there are people who love the beach as a place to play frisbee. There are couples that come and spend a private moment over here on the beach. There are bhaji kades that make a living over here. There are fisher folk. There are cricketers. There are old people who come here to get a breath of fresh air, but nobody cares. And I think that the cleanup really doesn't make sense until it starts moving people towards caring and taking action. Because then we can prevent this place from being dirty. We can prevent certain kinds of things from coming into the beach, like plastics coming into the beach, ought not to be coming in at all. So like we have a ban in the marina, we need to have a similar ban in Besant Nagar and ideally all through the country. But at least these are places that we can start with. So the effort of Reclaim Our Beaches is primarily to get people to understand that this problem is not going to be solved by the corporation or a bunch of kids who come and clean up every once in a while. But it has to start by all of us putting pressure on the government to do the right thing, which means that we start practicing democracy. So that is
not using any of this.
Correct, yeah.
Reduce your use.
Reduce
That's where it should start.
That's with the garbage. I'm saying also about the overall thing. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll go to the governor's bungalow and start walking along the beach line, and Arun will take over at that point for some discussions on the marine life and sea turtles.